Sweet.
Hello, 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 my beautiful people. Getting some people on. Here we go. Right on. Let me transfer screens here. Move this on over so I can actually look at the camera. There we go. Move screen. All right. How are we, everybody? How are we, everybody? Welcome to day two. Welcome to day two of Paid Event Secrets. We're going to have some fun today. If I can keep my stuff straight, I'm all over the place. Haven't had enough caffeine. If you guys have ever had a new tonic, these things are fantastic. I'm fully transparent, not a paid ambassador. I'm not an affiliate yet, at least. Highly encouraged though. New tonics are incredible, like focused productivity drinks. But anyway, as we're all joining in here, if you guys would like, I would actually love a few people to drop some of your biggest takeaways in from yesterday. Before we officially start today, I want to hear some of your all ahas, or I'm sorry, some of your all's aha moments from yesterday. The paid events work. That's fair. That's fair. GM, good morning to you, Craig. Oh, I missed yesterday. Well, Craig, it's okay. Pleasure to have you on today, brother. No freebie seekers. Let's see. Nelson said I can change what I'm doing now. 100 to 300 CPA sounds great. I don't think we talked much about CPA yesterday. We actually will a little bit today. Fantastic. What other? Oh, Amid, pleasure to have you, brother. Pleasure to have you, man. It's okay. No big deal. I'm missing yesterday. Replay should have still gone out. Caleb said, paid events is how you solve this marketing versus sales tension. That's fair. Caleb, good to see you, by the way. Well, can't see you, but I could see your takeaway. All right, go for high ticket back end offers and lure them with a $1 carrot. Fair. This could be easier for the know, like, and trust to many without feeling exhausted. Cost of acquisition is less. Fair. Depends on what I don't know what your cost of acquisition was before. I don't know if you're running ads. Any other takeaways? Oh yeah, by the way, guys, make sure that you are, if you're responding, make sure that you're responding to everyone so that way everyone can see your takeaway. Some of you guys might have the setting to only respond to hosts and panelists. Make sure that you're actually responding to everyone. All right, Tanya said, or Tanya says, $1 creates buying behavior. Who knew? Crazy, right? Who knew? It goes back to our motto over here. We don't care to be right. We just want to make money. We just want to get results. Check the ego at the door. We're happy to test whatever. But obviously, after enough tests, it's like, okay, at some point, this is becoming a recurring theme. That's where paid events came into play. Cool. Any other last minute takeaways? Any other last minute takeaways? We'd love to get one or two more from someone that hasn't spoke yet. All right, Daniel said conversion for pay versus free. Cool. All right. Well, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started here. I have Sohail, hold on. Here we go. Oh man, yeah, now they're all coming in. Really like the fact that CPL was 3 times higher versus a free ticket, but back end conversion was also 3 times higher. Abso-freaking-lutely it was. Yeah. What's special about it being a multiple day event versus consecutive hours in one day? Nelson, great question. And remind me, actually, I will make sure, I'm actually going to make a note real quick on my notes we're going to actually talk about the blueprint today on how to actually pull one of these events off. I'm going to actually talk about that because that is a huge point. Here we go. Why multi-day? Why multi-day? Cool. I'll make sure to answer that. All right, awesome, guys. Let's have some fun. Now, before we have some fun, so just as a recap, today we're actually going to be talking about how to actually plan, host, and sell your first or your next virtual paid event. But I have an apology to make to everyone. Yesterday, I made a comment about how I said that there was a YouTube video that I'd created about creating high ticket offers. I had fully transparent thought that I had one already created. Turns out it is in editing mode right now. So like actually, I think my editor's on this right now. I don't even think I've sent him it. So I've recorded the video. I need to send it over. It is not fully published yet. So I do not have that YouTube video to send you all today. So I've got 2 ways to make this up to you. Number one, If you just simply subscribe to the YouTube channel, that will be one of the first videos that will be produced in the next week or two. Okay, so if you want to subscribe to the Zach Hesselberg YouTube channel, feel free. I will have a video coming out in the next 1 or 2 weeks talking about creating your high ticket offer if you are in that phase. Okay, now, second way to make this up to you is I was actually toying around, like, this is genuinely my heart posture. I was like, man, how do I, like, do I just record a quick like Loom video and send it to everyone last night? And ended up the time got away from me. I'm like, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. If you guys are down for it, now I need to know in the chat, like, let me know if this would be okay with you. I would actually love to do a free bonus day tomorrow. So exact same time tomorrow, I would love to do a free bonus day. And here's what we're gonna actually talk about. We're not even gonna talk about I'm sorry, not numbers. We're not gonna talk about offers, but instead we're gonna do one better. So as I was looking through the agenda for today, I'm like, man, I've got to help make sure these people understand the difference. Like, if you go host your event, I've seen some people majorly flop on events, and I've seen some people majorly make a ton of money, like literally as many as $2.1 million, $2.5 million. Tomorrow, I would love to do a bonus day focused fully on what it looks like to close a room of people in a one-to-many fashion, and what the difference is between, you know, hosting an educational event versus hosting a transformational event. Would you guys be down for that? If we did just a free bonus day tomorrow, no strings attached, doesn't matter if you take advantage of our offer today or not. Yeah, we're getting a couple yeses. Heck yeah, yes, yeah, baby, right on. Yeah, Callie, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for expressing your gratitude. I appreciate that. Cool. Yeah, guys. So tomorrow, let's. I'll make sure that Justice, he's my director of clients, my director of client success. I will make sure that he sends out there will be probably a new webinar link that we'll have to set up. He will make sure to send a new webinar out to everyone, or a new link out to every single person that's bought a ticket. You should get probably automatically registered for tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. And probably, I'd say at some point shortly after today's session is over, we'll make sure that will be one of the first things that gets sent on out, is an invite for tomorrow's bonus session, where we're going to be talking about the difference between educational events versus transformational events, and how to actually make sure you can close a room full of people. Cool? Sound good? Awesome. Yeah, Don, there will for sure be a recording of this. Awesome. Cool. Okay, well, guys, let's get started here. So, all right, just as a recap, today's agenda, actually, technically, recap from yesterday. We discussed, for any of the people that missed yesterday, we discussed some of the core reasons that really selling high ticket is getting harder and harder and harder right now in 2025. We discussed how sales calls are simply inefficient. Selling one-on-one is the literal exact opposite of exponential growth. We talked about how, obviously, if you take on, one-on-one sales calls all day long, like, if you close 20% of those, which is solid, you're wasting 80% of your time. Like, 80% of your calls will never buy, which is therefore time that you'll never be able to get back. Time is our greatest resource. Obviously, money you could replace, but time you cannot replace. So we talked about how, in general, sales calls are inefficient as a way of multiplying your business. Secondly, we talked about how freebie seeking leads, whether you're doing free webinars, free events, honestly, free sales calls, a lot of the time it will draw people in for the wrong reason. Now, I'm not saying you need to go charge for sales calls if you are going to do a discovery call, but when you are marketing that on a one-to-many level, maybe you're running some ads, when you're drawing people in for free, you're typically bringing them in from a place of curiosity, and they have very, very low purchase intent. They're very likely to not show up for your event, things like that. And so that's also pretty rough. And then the last reason why it's getting harder and harder to sell high ticket is that people are more skeptical, and they're more sophisticated than ever before. And really, trust is at an all-time low. But it's actually, in my opinion, it's never been easier to gain trust, because no one's doing anything about it. There's very few people. We talked about yesterday. I was like, hey, let me know in the chat if you have competitors in your space that are doing a lot of events like this. And almost every single one of you were like, either no one, like, I'm not familiar with anyone else doing paid events like this in my space, or there are a few of you that were like, yeah, there's very, very few people that are doing it. This is one of the most efficient ways. Paid events are one of the most efficient ways to gather trust and really build up that know, like, and trust factor at scale with your audience, okay? So that's really what we talked about. And the last thing we had mentioned, which is because no one else is doing it in your space, this is an incredible time to be taking advantage of it. And that's kind of where we left off. So just as a quick little recap. Now, today, we're going to be talking about the paid event blueprint. Like, really, how do you actually pull one of these things off? What does it look like from start to finish? Secondly, we're going to talk about how do you sell tickets, whether you have a huge ad budget or no ad budget, whether you have a huge email list or SMS list or no list. How do you sell tickets? We've got 4 different ways we can sell tickets. And then we're also going to talk a little bit, and we'll get more into this one tomorrow, but we'll talk a little bit into how to close sales in a one-to-many fashion without feeling salesy or like awkward, right? Like I think a lot of people are pretty overwhelmed at the idea of that. They're like, oh, I don't want to be sold to. Like, people love to buy things, but they don't want to be sold to. So how do you create that same feeling in your own events? So anyway, cool. Oh, and then also just fully transparent, there will be an offer at the end of today. No pressure at all. If you want to buy it, awesome. Would love to see you in there. If not, no big deal. Awesome. Glad that you're here. So cool. Let's go ahead and dive in. So profitable paid event profitable paid event blueprint. Let's chat about it. So I want to give the quick aha story, because I think this is actually going to bridge the entire gap of like, how did you even come up with this? Like, what mentor taught you all of this? Yeah, Naughty said tongue twister. Yeah. So, how do we actually come up with this? Well, it came in 2020. Fully transparent. No, I didn't have a mentor that's like, oh, just do this, 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 and this. That's why I'm creating this for you guys. Is like, I don't have anyone that taught me all of this stuff. I had to figure it out on my own. So in 2020, I had a client. His name was Jai. Jai was he was technically a business coach for wedding photographers. He's based out of Australia, and he messaged me one day. He says, hey, mate. He says, I'm going to be hosting a virtual event. It was called the Wedding Photography Summit. And he was selling tickets for like $7. And at the time, he was having a hard time. He like, you don't make a whole lot of money when you're running ads to sell a $7 item. And he's like, can you help me out with some upsells and order bumps that way we can increase our average order value? So that way I'm not like actually losing money whenever I'm selling tickets. And then he also was asking for help with scaling up his ad spend. He's like, I want as many tickets to be sold for this event as possible. I said, yeah, no problem at all. And fully transparent at the time, like, I wasn't focused on events. This was actually my first ever like proper paid event that I had ever been behind. And so I said, so Hale said, I was hoping you'd commit to the Aussie accent. I wish, brother, I wish. I would be a much more attractive individual if I could pull off an Aussie accent naturally. But anyway, so when he reached out, I said, yeah, dude, I can absolutely help out with the uptake rates and scale up your paid advertising. Like, I've been doing this for actually since 2015. I've been doing paid advertising. So that, no problem at all. So I helped him out. And over the course of the next 8 weeks, I helped Jai end up selling about 8,000 tickets for his event. 8,000 tickets for his event. And he spent, fully transparent, it was about $100,000 in ad spend to be able to do that. Now, because the order bumps, which is like, that's like when it says like, oh, add this to your cart for an extra $17 or whatever, because those things were being taken advantage of at such a high rate, Jai, my friend, was actually profitable on acquisition, meaning he was paying like $25 to get a ticket sold, and he would make somewhere between $30 to $50 after all said and done before the event even started. And so he was profitable on the $100,000 of ad spend going into it. It was actually neat. He actually made about $250,000 total leading up to the event from his $100K in ad spend. And so I remember, oh man, it was the day before he went live. It was a Sunday. He was about to go live on a Monday. And I messaged him. I said, so dude, I'm sorry. I don't think I ever asked. I said, what are you going to pitch during your event? And homeboy, I kid you not, I couldn't even make this up if I tried. Homeboy literally says, I wasn't going to pitch anything. Like, they paid to be here. I'm not going to offer them anything to work with me further. Like, I don't want a bait and switch sort of a model. I said, brother, do you hate money? I said, these people have paid you a very small amount, which means they should theoretically show up at a high rate. I didn't technically know. It's like, I would imagine they're paying money to achieve a result. And you can only spend so much time with them. You're only going to be able to scratch the surface to the level of knowledge that you have. And you have a coaching program that's $2,000, and you're not even going to offer that to these guys? And he's like, well, when you put it like that, yeah, like, that sounds bad. It does sound like I hate money. I was like, what's your reasoning? He's like, well, I was planning on, doing a proper launch for my $2,000 coaching program in a couple months. I wasn't going to do like 2 launches back to back. I said, dude, unless you hate money, I think you need to let these people have the opportunity to see transformation. Because raise your hand if I'm genuinely curious. Can you please put in the chat right now if you've ever been to an event, whether it was in person or it was virtual. And you got super hyped up. You're like, this is going to be freaking game changer. And you left that event and you went back to your old environment and nothing changed. Can you relate to that in the chat? Just say me in the chat. Just say me in the chat. If yeah, me, we've got a couple of courses, me, but yeah, me. Yeah, everyone understands. That's what happens. But why does that happen? It's because it's actually really simple. It's because the actual event is only a catalyst for change, but the event cannot hold you accountable to change afterwards. That is the purpose. That is the intention. That is the reason why you need to be letting your customers buy something for like further support after the event is over, because that's where the real change happens. Once again, I said yesterday, guys, I had mentioned like, you know, I got the analogy of like Jesus preaching to the 5,000, which is actually 11,000 people. Look, a sermon is not the actual transformation. A sermon, whether Jesus was the one delivering it or, you know, in modern day churches right now, the sermon is just to get you to reframe your mind and actually get focused on real truth. And whether you want to believe that truth or not, it's once again, I'm not here to coerce you or anything. But the sermon is there to be a catalyst so you can make a change. But you can't go to that one sermon and leave and never do anything about what you just listened to and think that your life's going to change. That is silly. We all know that we need accountability. So anyway, I said, brother, you need to offer that. And he's like, well, I'm going live literally today, because Sunday night for me was Monday for him. He's like, I'm going live today. Maybe I'll try to do an offer on Tuesday. It was a 2-day event. And homeboy makes an extra $250,000 from this pitch that he had not even planned on making. So he literally was taking $7 tickets, and then he ended up selling a $2,000 offer in the back end that he had no plan on making. Who would like to make an extra $250,000 on, this was honestly his first paid event that he'd ever done. Now, obviously, I cannot sit here and promise you that you can make that happen. That would be, once again, FTC non-compliant, and I'm not about that. So I'm not going to promise that that's your result. But that was real for him. That was his real situation. And so anyway, the very next week after we did this event, I'm like, man, that was interesting. And none of my other clients were doing events. And I had this client named Kristen, who I think I alluded to yesterday. Kristen ended up becoming a kind of a fractional CMO for her, helped her do a lot of events later on. But Kristen, the very next week at the time, she reached out. She said, hey, Zach, this is her first year in business. She was on pace for about $500,000 for the year. And she was making like, at the very moment, she was making about 20 to 30K per month, which is actually less than 500K. And she was doing about 20 to 30K because she was doing free webinars. And she was selling a $1,000 offer. And she said, hey, Zach, I've got an idea. I'd like to do a 3-day virtual event. And I'd like to make it free, just get as many people there as possible, build a bunch of trust, give an offer to work with me, and they can buy the $1,000 offer from there. Said, interesting timing. Would you be open to charging for your event? I'm like, I don't know, $7 tickets, for example, worked really, really well for my other client literally last week. It's like, would you be down to do that? And she's like, yeah, let's give it a rip. And so we gave it a rip. We gave it the old college try. And Kristen at the time had very low audience. Like her audience, her email list was, I want to say maybe 1,000 people, which some of you guys would love to have 1,000-person email list. And others of you guys know that that is like not going to get you anything. She also had a Facebook group of maybe 2,000, maybe 3,000 people in the Facebook group. And so she also, therefore, did not have a huge ad spend. And she's like, yeah, let's give it a shot. We ended up selling 3,500 tickets for Kristen's first ever virtual event. These were paid tickets, $7 tickets, 3,500 people bought tickets. And she was selling, once again, a $1,000 offer. Of the 3,500 people that bought tickets, she had 248 people say yes to that $1,000 offer. Kristen went from on pace making 500K for her first full year in coaching in her business to the very last week of the year, she closed out a $248,000 event. Who would like that? Once again, I can't promise another $200,000 plus event. I'm just saying, like, this is, but guys, this was the founding story. This is like, man, there's something to this, right? And so what ended up happening was, Kristen, we ended up turning this event on evergreen. And I'll probably share a little bit more about that one later on how you can turn these things to evergreen. But we turned that on evergreen. It started attracting a bunch more customers, a bunch more people buying these $7 tickets of just like instant replays, right? And we ended up doing her next actual live event in May that next year. This was 2021. And in May, her very next event she did, she said, I'm sorry, not said, she sold $850,000 of her 1K offer. She had, I want to say about 4,500 people buy tickets to that one. So it wasn't actually that many more people that bought tickets. So 3,500 people bought tickets for the first one, 4,500 for the next one. But her conversion rate got much better. And that's something you guys will see, that the more you host these events, you're going to get so much better at processes and systems and closing. And so her next one, she had 850 people. So yeah, she made 850 grand just 5 months later. She went from December of 2020 to May of 2021. She made 850 grand. Unbelievable. We're talking like that is exponential growth. Can we all agree like that's not happening doing one-on-one sales calls? Many of you guys can't even that just can't happen doing one-on-one sales calls unless you suddenly start charging 850K, for your offer. And maybe one person says yes, but you guys see what I'm saying there? Yeah. Let's see. All of your examples of clients already making six figures with huge ad spends. Does this work for more common numbers? I don't know what common numbers are for you, but Don, yeah, we are going to specifically talk about paid traffic, or I'm sorry, traffic strategies that aren't all focused on paid traffic. Okay. But anyway, I wanted to make you guys understand, like, this is how I came up with this process. And then, so Kristen, we ended up continuing to do these events, and she ended up doing multiple $2 million plus events, somewhere in person, but virtual is always where you always get the most people to say yes to. Because that's the thing, like when you're trying to create a sales process in your company, whether you're doing virtual events or not, when you're trying to create a sales process, you've got to meet your customers where they're at. You've got to make sure that you're taking away unnecessary amounts of friction. And when you do an in-person event, you are causing 3 points of friction. Number one, travel. It's a huge point of friction. I myself have the money to travel, but I don't want to have to travel into someone's personal event. Yes, there's like the in-person connections. That's great and all, but like I travel enough. I don't want to add more travel to my schedule. So people are busy. Travel is a huge hurdle to jump through. Secondly, in-person events for you cost way more to host. The few that I've done with clients that were in-person events, not kidding when I say they cost somewhere between, if you're really going to do it right, maybe a ballroom that fits a couple hundred people, you can spend anywhere from $200,000 to $400,000 to host an in-person event for just a few hundred people in attendance for a multi-day event. And then thirdly, so first is once again, unnecessary hurdle of travel. Secondly, you're going to spend a ton more money than you need to. And thirdly is that the in-person events have the bottleneck of there's only so many people that can attend, right? So you can have almost unlimited people that attend a virtual event, but like physically speaking in a room, you can only fit so many people in a room. So you're actually limited unnecessarily on the amount of people that you can serve doing in-person events. So anyway, that's how this came up to be. So let's actually chat about the actual event strategy. Okay, so here's what you're going to do, and we're going to keep it high level at first, and we can get a little bit more nitty gritty later on. But high level here is, I want to make sure I'm doing all right on time. Okay, so high level here. You're going to plan for a multi-day event. Number one, why multi-day? Someone asked earlier, why are we doing a multi-day event? Well, it's because a single event for multiple hours, number one, also harder to commit to. Myself running a multiple seven-figure business right now. And I don't want to block out 4 hours on my schedule to go to someone's virtual event. Also, like, honestly, attention span is really low. Like, can we all agree? If you're sitting in front of your computer, if I said, hey, this is going to be a 4-hour presentation, how many of you guys, be honest with me? I want to know in the chat. Just say honestly, like, I'll just say the word me. Let me know me in the chat. If you'd likely start pulling up other websites or you'd likely start to drift off, you're going to get distracted on a multi-hour event. Yeah, Jessica's like, absolutely me. Yeah, TikTok addict for sure. Guys, people get distracted. So understand, once again, we're designing sales processes that fit to your customers. It meets them where they're at. If we are selling to distracted people, we've got to make sure that we are giving them information in bite-sized chunks. Also, number two on this is that when you're doing a multi-day event, people actually feel as if they've spent more time with you. But it's interesting when I say that, because like I can spend 4 hours with you on a Monday and not talk to you again, versus I can spend 1 hour a day for the next 4 days in a row. Technically, it's the same time. But can we all agree, like, just honestly, like subconsciously, doesn't that feel like you're spending more time with me? Like we're actually able to develop more of a relationship. It's same as going on a date for 4 hours rather than going on 4 1-hour coffee dates. Like you're going to get to know that individual. It's going to feel as if you're getting to know that individual so much better. Here's the last part of this that I genuinely believe is so important. People like if you guys have all sold anything before, you guys understand the idea of like, oh, I need to think about it. It's common objection, but it's not actually an objection. I need to think about it is typically a smokescreen because people feel as if they are being rushed into the decision and that, price is either too high or whatever else. When you can spend multiple days, number one, they don't really need to think as much about it because they're actually thinking about it even when you're not talking to them. Like, actually, can we just be really, really honest? Last night, I want to know, did what you guys learned yesterday, did it at all come across your mind or thought process again after we ended the call? Or like right after we ended Zoom, where you're like, okay, cool, shut off, and you didn't think about this at all until today? Or had you guys thought more about what we talked about yesterday from the moment we ended until right now? Yeah, a lot of people are like, yeah, watch the replays, you thought a lot about it, right? This was eating up attention in your brain space. This was taking up your bandwidth. I'm planting seeds. I'm sorry if I lost any sleep. I'm sorry if I made you guys lose any sleep, guys. But I was planting seeds that was able to sprout and take root without me being directly in front of you for the next 24 hours. Think about what that would do for you if you're hosting an event and you're able to transform the way your prospects are thinking. And you're out on the golf course, you're out getting coffee, you're going to happy hour after you go live for the first day. And your customers or your soon-to-be customers, your prospects, whatever, they are sitting there still thinking about the amount of transformation you just provided for them. The amount of goodwill that's building when you're not even directly in front of them is, I can't even begin to fathom or tell you how powerful that is. The conversions will always come in at a much higher rate because people are literally thinking about this the entire week. So anyway, hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's why we do a multi-day event. It's because multiple reasons there. So hopefully that makes sense. So pick a day, pick a time on the calendar. Typically, I try to say like, plan for maybe a 10-week period. So like, let's say that right now you said, hey, I want to do an event. I would say try to do an event in about 8 to 10 weeks from now. So that would be, you'd have all of March, all of April. You'd probably be doing an event in early May if you really want to do this right. And what that's going to allow you to do is you'll be able to spend 4 or 5, probably about 5 to 6 weeks actually of prep time. That prep time, you guys are writing emails, you're writing sales pages, you can do some market research, you're prepping whether it's JV partnerships. Once again, we'll talk about traffic strategies in a second. You're prepping everything for about 5 to 6 weeks, which is a super healthy time. Like even if you are a solo entrepreneur, or maybe you've got a small team, you've got, 2 or 3 people on your team, or maybe you can hire a freelancer. That's more than enough time to prep properly for an event. And then you're giving yourself about 3 weeks to actually sell tickets for your event. And fully transparent, you don't need to do a 3-week promo period for every single event moving forward. After you know that your event sells, after you know that your sales page converts and everything, you can do actually like 7-day windows, 10-day promo windows, et cetera. You don't have to do 3 weeks, but 3 weeks is a really good time to be able to test out different ad angles or messaging angles on your emails or JV partnerships, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of what you're going to do. So anyway, pick a time, whether it's late April, maybe early May, maybe mid-May, something like that. And I would say do either a 2, 3, or maybe 5-day event on the calendar. Now, the number of days is dictated based on meeting your customer where they're at. Admittedly, I would have loved to have done a 5-day event. However, I understand that our ideal customer profile, we'll get more into this later, but like our ideal customer profile for the offer that we're going to be launching, they're at least doing 6 figures. Like I'm not a great person at taking someone from 0 to 1, but I'm incredible at taking someone from 1 to 100. I've been like this my entire life. I used to play college volleyball, and same thing, even like coaching someone in volleyball. I did a little bit of coaching in college kind of on the side, and it's like, I can't teach someone. I'm not good at teaching someone how to, hit that serve over the net for the first time. But I can absolutely take a high school player and turn them into an elite college athlete if I needed to. Absolutely. Same thing with business. So anyway, If you know that, for example, I know that my target avatar, they don't want to spend 5 days. They're like, yo, if tell me what you can do for me, tell me how it's going to help me. Let's see if it makes sense, and if so, great, let's rip. Like, let's go for it. And so I would have a hard time selling tickets for a 5-day event, personally, in my opinion, for my true target avatar, because they respect their time so deeply. It wouldn't make sense. But maybe if you're selling to people that are a little bit less off, like less financially off, maybe they're just typical 9-to-5ers, maybe their household income is less than 100K a year, they're probably going to need a little bit more time with you. But that also depends on your price point. So if you're charging a couple $1,000s for your service, you probably don't need 5 days. You could probably do that in a 2-day event. But if you're trying to sell, like we've sold all the way up to $30,000 offers, $30,000 offers to general middle America, like middle class Americans, $30,000 offers to them cannot be sold, in my opinion, well, in a 2-day event. You need a little bit more time for them to be able to be understanding the processes that you're using and really being able to trust you, right? So it's kind of a mix of understanding where your price point is, how much friction you're going to have on that price point, and how busy your target avatar is. So pick a day on the calendar, or pick a time on the calendar to do a multi-day event. And then once again, make sure that you have about 8 to 10 weeks of promo period. And then choose a ticket price. I'm big on low tickets, right? Like dollar tickets, $7 tickets, $9 tickets. We've tried, there's a lot of people in this space that do try to do like $97 general tickets and $297 VIPs. I've tried those before. And I will say this, the cost of acquisition is unnecessary high. Like, it is so high. When I say so high, I'm talking like, it's not uncommon to pay at least $500 in ad spend to get a $97 sale. That is rough. Now, granted, sure, you could say, well, the person that paid $97 is going to convert at a higher rate. Maybe, but I don't know. I'm big on the low price. Here's why. The lower the price, the lower the friction. And I have seen hundreds of thousands of dollars of split tests. I mentioned this yesterday. So a client literally just spent $300,000 on a split test last month on this, testing out paid versus free. The free tickets do not show up at the same rate, nor do they buy at the same rate. And so the cost of acquisition in the back end was way cheaper. It was like 3 times cheaper for the paid ticket than it was the free tickets. And so I would suggest, like, there's no reason to add in unnecessary friction on your ticket price. Make it a couple bucks, cheaper than an overpriced water bottle from your airport, right? Something that someone can see and they're like, oh no, I might not know this person, but yeah, I'm not super concerned about losing $7. Like, that's an impulse purchase, right? So that's what I would suggest. But obviously, test out whatever you'd like. If you want to do $47 or $27, that's fine. But I will say your conversion rate will go lower. We have a split test we actually recently just did on $7 tickets versus $1 tickets. And the cost of acquisition was drastically different between those two. The $7 ticket, actually just on the checkout page alone, I shouldn't even be giving this for free. Technically, you guys all paid here. Like, this should probably be gated for back-end clients, but I'm giving you guys free game. So the conversion rate, so after someone opts in on the sales page, the checkout page, when it was a $1 ticket, we had somewhere around 45 to 50% of the people that made it to that checkout page would purchase the $1 ticket. When we did a $7 ticket for the exact same offer, it was about a 25% conversion rate, which means you're losing half the people just by charging $7 versus $1. Are we hearing me? Does that make sense? Jamar said, no hating money. Yeah. So anyway, that's like, just want to be really, really honest with you guys. Like, we test things aggressively. And that's one of the, I would say, just like luxuries of being able to work with different clients and obviously doing our own events. Like, we have quite a bit more ad spend that we can get significant amount of data to say, I could say with a lot of confidence, that made sense from a cost of acquisition standpoint. And fun fact, guys, the show rate didn't change. The show rate in the back end was still over 40%. So like the principle of paying those 16 digits of the credit card number, that is what mattered the most. It doesn't matter if it's $1 or $7 or $97, right? So anyway, there's that. So pick a price point. Now, next thing you're going to want to do is pick, what are you going to teach? What are you going to teach? What's your event going to be about? That's probably the most important thing, arguably. So what are you going to teach? Well, I'm just going to dive into a little marketing psychology lesson for you. Let's just say that you see someone running outside. This is going to seem like I'm kind of going off the walls here. I'm curious. If you saw someone running outside, why do you think they're running? Why do you think they're running? Let me know in the comments. Why do you think they are running if you see someone running outside? To get exercise, fair. Someone's chasing them for fun, scared of something, exercise, cops, or enjoyment, run from the popo. Right. So, okay, a bunch of different answers here. But you know what? Those answers can be summarized into two different points. They're either running away from something or they're running towards something. There are only two reasons why your customers will ever buy from you. It's because they are either chasing pleasure or they're running away from pain. Now, fun fact, when you're selling pleasure, it's not near as motivating as helping someone get away from pain. So just call that what it is. For example, I could have, even for this event, I could have simply said, hey, I can help you make 6 figures in a day. First of all, that's FTC non-compliant. But I could teach you how it's possible to make 6 figures in a day. I could say that. Now, we would all want to make 6 figures in a day. But why do most people not make 6 figures in a day? Other than they don't know how. Because I'll teach you guys how to do it. I'm teaching you guys right now how to do it. But there's a lot of you guys that won't go make 6 figures in a day. A lot of you guys won't make 6 figures in a day. And I'm not saying it's because you're not good enough. A lot of you guys will attend this event, you will learn what to do, and you just won't simply do it. You won't go take action. It's because you are comfortable. It's because you are comfortable. You're not in enough pain. At the end of the day, some of you guys, no matter how much I tell you how inefficient sales calls are, like they are, like we can look at the numbers. You can't argue it. But some of you guys are making just enough money that you're like, yeah, this is good enough though. Like I don't really need to do anything else to chase towards that pleasure. And so to really motivate most people, you have to remind them of the pain that they are in or that they will be in if they don't make a change. Call that what it is. Okay. So for example, if you teach someone how to get in shape, someone yesterday had mentioned that they're kind of in the health space. They're thinking about maybe doing some supplements. Okay. In the health space, a direct example of this, a pain, there are a bunch of different pains. A pain would simply being out of shape, being fat, about to die. There are a bunch of different pains. And then the pleasure is like be in shape, feel great, look good naked, like a bunch of different pleasures, right? A lot of people want to look good naked, but a lot of people don't look good naked. And it's because they're comfortable enough. They're comfortable enough as they are because they're not in enough pain. My dad is a perfect example of this. My dad had knee surgery recently. He had to get a knee replacement surgery and a back surgery because he's done manual labor his entire life. And my father was not taking his training seriously. He was not taking the rehab seriously. Now, you could sit here and remind him of all of the pain he's going to be in if he doesn't actually like treat his recovery seriously, or you could also try to motivate him with pleasure. Admittedly, my wife and I, we're taking my entire family, my parents, my brother-in-law, my sister, my niece and nephew, we're taking everyone to Disney World later this year. And my dad at the time couldn't walk more than about 1,000 steps a day. And so when he's like, crap, his pain, while it's pleasure, the idea of walking around Disney World all day long, for him, the pain is what was motivating him. What's the pain? For him, the pain was, I don't want to have to ride around in a motorized scooter around Disney World all day long. As all of the families enjoying rides and they're all walking and they feel free, I don't want the pain or the idea of the pain that would be the embarrassment for him of being in a wheelchair or in like one of those motorized scooters all day long. That was his real pain. And now all of a sudden he's walking way more steps per day. He's walking close to 8,000 steps per day. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. Like you need to make sure that if you're going to do an event, going back to this entire subject here, if you're going to do an event, you've got to make sure that you're reminding people of like you're helping them take away from pain and you're selling them to some sort of pleasure. Really, the first couple days on your event can be focused on the pain points and reminding them of like why what they've tried to do is not working. And then you can start to talk about how your method will actually achieve the desires that they're wanting. And now what you're selling is the perfect bridge to take them from point A to point B. Got it? So I've got to hurry up on time here. So I want to go over a couple quick strategies on how to sell tickets, which is, let's see, on the tickets, 4 strategies. Number 1, paid traffic. That's paid ads. I think a lot of you guys have you guys have been dropping in the chat like, why are you so focused on paid ads? It is the number 1 most predictable, most consistent way of being able to get new customers. Paid ads are the number 1 most consistent, most predictable way to bring on new customers. If you can profitably acquire a new customer, if you could spend $1 and make $3 back in profit, doesn't it stand to reason that you'd want to spend as much money as possible? That is the most predictable way to do this. Now, you can of course also so paid ads is number 1. Number 2 is email list. You could leverage your own email list if you do have one, whether it's 300 people or 3,000 people or 3 million people, right? You could sell tickets to your email list. Number 3 is through organic social media. Whether you've got, once again, it doesn't matter if you've got 3 friends or 3,000 friends on Facebook, on Instagram following, etc. Organic social media, letting people know that you're going to be doing this event. And then number 4 is through JVs, joint ventures. A JV, if you really want to do this right, you need to be incentivizing someone with a percentage of sales that their links generate. So let's say that I went out to my friend Stacy over here, and Stacy has a great email list of a bunch of coaches. I can hit up Stacy and say, hey, Stacy, I'd give you 100% of every single sale that comes in through your individual link that you sell your audience to. So maybe, you sell a couple $1,000s in ticket sales. I'll give you those couple $1,000s back, 100%. I don't need to make money on the ticket sales. And whatever I sell in the back end, I'll give you 10% off, or I'll give you 20% off, or 5% off, whatever makes sense for your business model. Now, Stacy all of a sudden has the motivation. She's like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. I could make a lot of money here soon with promoting someone else's offer. So that would be another way to do this. But JVs, quite honestly, aren't the most, it's a great way to get an event launched, but it's not the most predictable way. If you want to do an event, like if you go, once again, spend $1 and make $3 back, you're going to want to do the same thing next month. Stacy's not going to want to keep hitting her list up every single month. So paid ads are the best way to scale up your business. Just call it what it is, okay? Now, I wanted to give an example of someone that maybe is not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in ads. We had a friend of mine who he just did an event last week, and his event was selling to people that were financially very far off. I'm sorry, they were poor. He was selling to people that were in massive amounts of debt, and he was helping them get out of debt, and which is a interesting audience to sell a $6,000 offer to. My man butchered his pitch. Did not sell well. That's okay. It was his first one. Once again, you're not going to be perfect. He still made 18 grand. He still made 18 grand, and he spent $7,000. Just to be really, really transparent, he spent $7,000. He only got 35 tickets sold, which is really not a great cost of acquisition. So he spent $7 grand. He made about 35 sales on the front end. Not exciting. We're talking, he's pretty much $7,000 in the hole going into his event. But he had 3 people take him up on a $6,000 pay in full offer. Spend 7, make 18K, and now you can also do a proper debrief, and you're like, oh, I could have done that better. I could have done that better. Cool. Now it's only up from here. He could go rehost the exact same event next month and make way more, even if he spent the same, because now he has ads that he ended up finding out which ads worked the best for him, and they were a way lower cost of acquisition. So like he's got process that he can just now optimize, and he could make more money in the future. So anyway, that's an example. Okay, last thing that I'm going to share with you guys today, and once again, we'll get more into this one tomorrow, which is who would like to get a line of customers just throwing credit cards at you, waiting to work with you and pay you handsome amounts of money? Say me in the chat right now, if you would like a line full of customers just literally throwing credit cards. I've seen this happen. One of my clients did an event. She did an in-person event, and she had people in the front row take out their credit cards and throw their credit cards on stage. I'm dead serious. I can't make this up. I mean, I guess I could, but that's not in alignment with me. They literally took out their credit cards, threw them at her, and said, just give us your offer already. Who would like that? Yeah, I've seen a bunch of me's. Yeah, yes, please, absolutely. Okay, couple things on how to do this. Number 1, do we think, I'm gonna teach you this by making you think about something. That specific individual that had people throwing credit cards at her, do you think that she's the type of person that would wait 1 month to make a purchase decision on her own. You know, if maybe something came across her desk and she's like, "Ooh, yeah, I should probably hire this individual. Let me think about it for the next month." Do you think she makes quick decisions, or does she make slower, more well thought out, like long-term decisions? Quick. Cynthia said quick, at least. Any others? Quick or long-term? Or I'm sorry, quick or slow? Success, love, speed. Quick, quick, quick. Guys, this is a lesson for you today. And I hope that you understand what I'm getting at right now. In nature, everything produces after its own kind. If you want people throwing credit cards at you, quite literally, saying, "Please take my money, I want to buy," you have to be that type of buyer first. You have to be the type of person that you want to attract into your life. It's the same thing. Like if someone's majorly obese, they can't sit there and say, "Yeah, I want my spouse to be a ripped 6-pack goddess," right? That doesn't make sense, because you're not going to, like attracts like. If you're taking care of your health, you will typically attract other people that take care of their health as well. Same thing with buying. You've got to be the buyer that you want to attract into your own company. This was majorly transformational for me when I first fully understood this. I used to wait a very long time to make decisions. And now, like I bought a $115,000 Audi RSQ8 a couple years ago. And my employee, he was in the room when I bought it. He was astounded at how fast this happened. I looked it up. I saw the correct spec that I wanted. And first of all, I found out, I was like, yeah, I've made the decision the day before. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to buy an Audi. The very next day, I found the exact spec that I wanted at the right price point I wanted. I called up the dealership. I said, "Hey, you still have that specific RSQ8 in stock?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "Cool. Can you just verify it doesn't smell like smoke inside?" It was a reputable dealership. It was a Lamborghini dealership. So they're not selling lemons. Shouldn't be. Anyway, they said, "Yeah, no, it smells good. Like you hear the door opening and closing. I'm in front of it right now." I said, "Great. Can you go ahead and get me in charge, or like get me in touch with finance? I'd like to go ahead and purchase the car and have you guys send it on out to me today." It was multiple states away. It was about the same length of time that some of you guys would take when you're talking to Papa John's and ordering a pizza. I'm not kidding. That's how quick that decision was made. So be the buyer that you want to attract. Another thing that I wanted to mention, hopefully we have enough time here. This is going to shift the way that you see some things. Okay, so I'm gonna give a quick example. Can I have someone actually raise your hand? I need a volunteer for this one. I'm gonna just take the first person I see raise hands. So we got a few different raised hands. Let's try to call on someone. I don't know if I called on Nelson yesterday. So Nelson, I'm gonna go ahead and call on you here. Allow to talk. My guy, Nelson, can you hear me?
Hello, hello.
How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Nelson, you can still see my screen, correct?
Yep.
Or see me? Cool. Do you see what am I holding up? I don't know if it's hold on here.
Oh, blurry $100 bill.
Yeah, but $100 bill nonetheless. Nelson, if I said, do you ever use like Venmo?
Yeah.
Cool. Nelson, if I said, brother, I'll give you my Venmo right now. If you Venmo me $10, would you, I'll give you this $100. Would you take me up on that deal?
Of course.
Okay. I'm going to amp it up. Hold on. I'm getting somewhere with this, but 1 second. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 10 legit $100 bills, not counterfeit, nothing else, like just legit, good as good, $100 bills. If I said, Nelson, same 10x return, but a little bit amplified now, would you be willing to pay me $100 for my $1,000 if I Venmoed you this right away? Would you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you take me up on, would you pay me $1,000? Like, would it be a good deal for you if I said, give me 1,000 and I'll give you 10K?
Yeah.
Okay. What about 10K for 100,000? Would that be a good deal?
It would. Of course.
Okay.
It's all
Okay.
dependent on trust, right?
Right. Of course. And then last one. I know this is going to sound ridiculous. What if I said, pay me $100,000 and I'll Venmo you? I don't even know if Venmo would even allow this, but I'll cut you $1 million check right now. Would that be a good deal?
Of course.
Okay. Now, Nelson, those were a lot of scenarios. And if I said right now, I'll give you about an hour, but I'm only going to allow you to take me up on one of those deals. But you've got about an hour to be able to make it happen. Which one are you going to be able to take me up on right now of all of those scenarios?
You mean depending on my bank account?
Yeah, whichever. I mean, just Like if you've got to get me the money
I
and
mean, mentally, I would be able to take, I'd take the highest one.
okay,
Bank
so
account wise, that might be a different story.
okay, so like let's just say based on whatever you're comfortable with right now financially, which one would you be able to take me up on?
Ability would be different than desire, obviously, but ability
Sure.
probably, uh, like, well, of those options, 10K.
Okay, so the 10K for 100,000 or 1,000 for 10K?
10K for 100,000.
Cool. Okay. So, Nelson, what if I said that what if I said that there's someone in the chat that they said, "Hey, I've got $100,000 I'll loan you if you pay me 50% interest." And so you technically have to pay them $150,000 back. Would that change your option? Would you like for example, you could now take me up on the $1 million offer. You borrowed someone else's 100,000. You even have to pay them 50K back. Now you're paying them 150 back, but you're still left with what is that, 850?
Yeah,
Would that be a good deal?
yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
So hypothetically, let's say that there was someone in the chat that was able to do that for you right now. And I re-asked this question. You got one deal to take me up on. Which one would you actually take me up on if you knew that that was an option?
The highest one, for sure.
Absolutely. First of all, point proven. I honestly just want to say congratulations. This is going to sound cheesy, but I'm dead serious. Congratulations on thinking like a top 1% investor. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll kick you out of the chat. Like I don't know if you can still chat here. Yeah, disable talking, guys. What Nelson just did is we just got him to focus, and I hope everyone. This is probably even more valuable for some of the people that weren't even doing the activity. Getting your customers to focus on your value rather than your price point. Some of you guys are so focused on that $100,000 price point, or like let's say even a lower price point. Let's say that you might have that $1,000 in front of you, but you're so focused on letting go. Like I can't see my backhand right now. There could be $1,000 in my backhand, but if I'm so focused on this $100, I'll never see the $1,000 on the backside. But a lot of you guys help people get some ridiculously valuable transformation, and you're so focused on like the price point that you're not helping them see what the actual transformation is. Is this making sense for people? Like you've got to make sure that you're like when you're doing an event, you've got to teach your audience to focus on your value, not the individual line items that you're going to do. Like no one wants Facebook ads. I could say I can run your Facebook ads. Or I can say, hey, I can bring you a customer acquisition system that will bring in customers on demand. The technical work on my end might be the exact same thing, but they are two totally different meanings. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Now, last thing I'm going to mention, this is going to sound off the wall. I need, it's lunchtime, and I promise I'm going to get somewhere with this, but it's lunchtime, and I've got, some of you guys should know about me. I love chocolate chip cookies. Does anyone know how to make a really good chocolate chip cookie? Like, does anyone feel like they can teach me how to make a really, really good chocolate chip cookie? Sohel said yes. Sohel, I've actually had your cooking, bro. It's fantastic. Raphael, I like the confidence. You said hell yeah. Raphael, yeah. Raphael, question for you. I'm an intelligent person, but like, I'm just not a great baker. Do you feel that you could teach, you as an intelligent person that knows how to make incredible gooey chocolate chip cookies, do you feel like you would be able to help me make a really good chocolate chip cookie if you had enough time with me? 110%. So Raphael, what you're saying is that one individual that is intelligent can teach another individual how to take their skills. You could teach someone the skill set as long as that person is willing and able to learn. Yep, absolutely. Guys, that's the thing. You've got to make sure that your customers know that especially like in a small little event like this, you've got to make sure that your customers know, guys, I can teach you. Like you have to be able to instill that belief within them, but like you have to help your customers understand that if you're an intelligent person and they're intelligent, that you can teach them exactly how to transfer these skills, obviously with enough time. You don't have enough time though within a 2, 3, maybe 5-day event. So that's why you need to give those offers in the back end. So real quick, we're coming up on the end of time. And I want to make sure that I'm respectful of your all's time. This might take 10, 15 minutes. So I apologize. If you need to go, so be it. This is also your chance to leave if you don't want to hear an offer. I don't want to offend anyone if I give an offer. But would it be okay with you guys? Can you actually, I want your permission. Do I have permission to share a special offer with you that I have prepared for you today? Amy says, bring it on. Nadia, yep, sure, cool, okay. All right, I just want to make sure I'm not trying to offend anyone, right? Okay, so guys, I'm gonna go ahead and share screen, and I'm gonna walk through a special offer with you guys that I have prepared for you today. So let's go ahead and, if I can share screen, here we go, share screen. Guys, I want to teach you about the Ofer room. So I mentioned yesterday that the Ofer, well, I'm sorry, that, you know, a lot of the business principles I use are pulled from the Bible. The Ofer room, why in the world is this called the Ofer room? The Ofer room is specifically, oh, by the way, hold on, I gotta stop share. I already know. You guys are a wildin' in the comments, especially between yesterday, I was seeing the replays. You guys are wildin' in the comments. There's gonna be a lot of questions over the next 10 to 15 minutes. Please, for sake of time, to respect everyone's time, let's please hold off on questions until after I get through this. And then that way, the people that need to go, they can go. And then I will stick around for another 15, 20 minutes if you need. I'll answer whatever questions you guys have, okay? Cool. All right, so Ofer room, real quick. So the Ofer room is called Ofer because in the Bible, I was reading one day, and I was like, man, the Bible says everything for very specific reasons. And King Solomon, it's mentioned so many different times that King Solomon was paid from gold of Ophir, gold from the land of Ophir. I was like, what's Ophir? And so I start looking up Ophir. Ophir is a land that's technically, we don't even know 100% where it was, but it was a region or port city that was known for how valuable its resources were that came from it. The almug wood, the spices, the gold. It was considered to be, you know, gold is gold, right? But the gold from Ophir, the almug wood from Ophir, the spices from Ophir were more valuable than that of other worldly places. And so I just had a download from God one day that was like, hey, I want you to incorporate Ophir in the way of which you serve people. So the Ophir room for us is going to be a place where you guys are getting value, fully transparent, all biblically backed, but that's the Ophir room. So that's why it's called that. But we are going to be teaching you guys how to plan, host, and sell paid virtual events to scale your high ticket offer without taking sales calls. Now, it says only 20 spots available, and I am dead serious on that. If the 21st person that tries to pay me, whether it's today or tomorrow or whatever, 21st person, I promise you, hold me to it. I will send you a refund. I am not taking more than 20 people. This is the first time that we're launching this, and this is going to be something you guys should know about me. I go above and beyond for our clients. We will always over deliver. And I think I'm going to be spending way more individual time with each of these people than what I would like to believe. And so I don't want to shoot myself in the foot and have too many clients, okay? And fully transparent, I had one person, Amy, you're already on this call. Amy took advantage of this yesterday. Amy messaged me yesterday. She's like, hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to be on the call tomorrow. Send me the link. I want to buy whatever it is you're selling. Amy is that person. She's the type of person that's going to have people throwing credit cards at her because she's doing the same thing. She's making quick decisions. So right now we have 19 spots left in this specific offer. What is it? It is a 6-month live coaching program for coaches, course creators, and consultants that are ready to scale their high ticket offers and hit record sales days using paid virtual events. Here's how we're going to host this. You're not just going to go access some course that's pre-recorded and whatnot. Guys, this is going to be live taught. So we're going to be doing this starting next week is when coaching calls start, and you will be getting replays to all of the coaching calls. But starting next week is when we go live. And we're first covering the basis for scaling a high ticket service. We need to make sure that you guys are having truly irresistible and scalable high ticket offers. We're going to go over the key elements of an irresistible high ticket offer. We're going to talk about structuring your offer in a way that's really has that high perceived value. We're going to talk about pricing strategies, ensuring your offer is actually scalable to fulfill on, because something you will learn is that, you know, some of you guys might have a high ticket offer that has a lot of one-on-one components, and you can't take on 30 clients in a day or 10 clients in a day. So we'll talk about how to switch that around so it can actually be more scalable and fulfillment. And then some common mistakes to avoid, right? And then, by the way, so we'll have these coaching calls on Wednesdays, and then Thursdays, we're going to have Q&A calls and hot seat calls. So whatever we teach on Wednesdays, that will be course curriculum. We'll still do Q&As at the end of that. And then Thursday, we'll do another coaching call where I will answer any and all of your questions and make sure you're getting specifically tailored, unique advice to your business, okay? Now, week 2, We're actually going to talk about how to validate your event offer before you even begin planning for it. That is one of the biggest mistakes people can make, is you put all of, there's a good bit of work to put together your sales page, your confirmation email, all your sequences to make sure people go show up. It is heartbreaking at the idea of you doing all of that and finding that no one even wants to buy a ticket in the first place. So we have a strategy that we've recently come across that takes literally about 30 minutes of work and a few $100s total in ad spend to be able to get ultimate clarity on what offer, or like kind of your offer promise, will generate the lowest cost of acquisition and attract the highest quality customers. That is why I was able to, I knew with confidence that Paid Event Secrets was going to sell well, because I did market research beforehand. And I'm going to teach you how to do the exact same thing. It does not take much time to pull off. It takes a few $100s, and it's going to make you so much money in the back end with so much more confidence and clarity going into your event. Okay, week 3. Once you actually have your core promise, we're going to actually talk about how to structure and position your paid event for maximum sales. Everything from choosing the right format, the pricing, positioning. We're going to talk about structuring your event for how to build the most trust and conversion as possible. How to make sure it's going to be an engaging experience. Should you do in person? Should you do virtual? Sometimes it does make sense for some people to do in person. We could talk about that. How to position yourself as the authority. And then also we're going to go over an asset checklist. So what you need, make sure if you just go through this asset checklist of like, hey, did you write this? Yep, check. Did you write this? Yep, check. Did you set up this automation? Yep, check. We're going to have the entire checklist to make sure that there is no T left uncrossed and no I left undotted, okay? After you have the idea of what you're going to sell, now you can start building. Build that high converting funnel and sales page that actually sells. We're going to talk about how to build an actual high converting sales page that actually drives in ticket sales. We're going to talk about, simple and effective event funnels, everything from the opt-in page, the sales page, the checkout. Once again, we've got data on what converts. Like I was already mentioning that earlier. We're going to talk about how to create a simple and we already said that. Writing compelling event descriptions, how to pre-handle objections. That's a whole different thing. I'll talk about that one in a second of handling objections. And then also any of the automations that will help you increase conversions, increase show rate, and make sure that you're reducing that drop off. Now, week 5, we're going to talk about how to actually fill this thing with buyers using both organic and paid traffic. We're actually going to be going over, like, guys, I've spent, between all of our clients and then ourselves, we spend well over $500,000 in ad spend every single month. So we will be literally sharing screen and showing how we would set up these ads from start to finish. So even if you've never ran an ad before, no big deal. Follow along, you'll be good to go, and just start off with a lower budget, right? So no big deal. So we're going to talk about the organic and paid strategies to sell tickets, Facebook and YouTube ad strategies, leveraging those JV and influencer partnerships. Really, what should your budget be? How do you test ads? How do you optimize for ROI? And then how do you even retarget these people to make sure that you're converting those warm leads into buyers? And then week 6, we're going to talk about how to pre-frame your attendees so they actually arrive ready to buy. It takes some of the pressure of selling off when they actually show up and they're like, yo, I want whatever it is that you're about to offer, right? So how do you pre-frame these leads before you even go live? How do you create email and SMS indoctrination sequences that boost engagement? Leveraging some community engagement strategies. Admittedly, we didn't do that on this event, but you could use Facebook groups or Telegram groups. We've had a lot of experience doing that before. I'll tell you some of the pros and cons of that. We'll go over some of the live engagement tactics on how to increase show-up rate, and also some of those psychological triggers that make attendees feel invested before the event even starts. Week 7 is where the fun gets started. This is a little messed up in formatting, but bear with me. So we're going to talk about actually how to deliver a high-impact event that gets people hooked. Everything from the opening sequence to hook your attendees, everything from the first 5 minutes. I was actually going to mention, I think it might be helpful for anyone that buys, actually, just side note, anyone that buys this, I think it might be really helpful for you guys. I'll probably just do a breakdown of why I said what I said at every point during this entire event. Everything from why I introed the way I introed, why I said certain stories the way I said them, tonality fluctuations, how I'm closing a room, etc. I'll break down the whole thing. I'll break down the entire economics, but that's a side point. Anyway, we'll also talk about how to handle Q&A session, objections, and keep the energy high. We'll talk about some of the tools and tech setup for seamless execution. And we'll also talk about how to make sure you have maximum impact through really high engaging experience. Week 8 is all about the sales though. This is where I think a lot of people are afraid, because a lot of people have hosted events and they didn't see a lot of conversions, or maybe they're afraid of hosting an event and not seeing conversions. So here's what we're going to do for you. Number one, we're going to talk about how to actually sell your high ticket offer without like a high pressure. Once again, people love to buy things, but they don't want to be sold to. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the psychology behind effortless high ticket conversions. We'll talk about structuring your event, like how to go from event into then transitioning into your offer in a really natural way. How to pitch without pressure, how to make offers that feel organic. How do you overcome objections and fear from potential buyers? This is a checklist my copywriter wrote. It's unbelievable. This checklist alone, I could easily sell for a couple $1,000s. Like, I'm not big on the fake value stack. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, guys, this is worth $340,000 and $5.02. I'm not going to sit here and do that. But this one individual checklist, I could easily sell for a couple $1,000s. It is a checklist that you can, if you have your event, like your topics prepared and what you're going to talk about, you run this checklist through what you're planning on talking about. And you're going to see, you're like, oh, okay, I need to incorporate this in here, this in here. And if you can check all of these, by the time you even get to your pitch, you're going to be so much more likely to have 10, 20, as much as 30% of the room be willing to buy. It is incredible. It pre-handles so many objections. So anyway, that's a checklist that you can just run your presentations through. And then we're also going to talk about call to action strategies that drive action immediately. Then we're also going to do a bonus week 9, and that will be the end of the curriculum. So the bonus week 9 is going to be talking about a post-event follow-up that drives more sales. How do you craft, follow-up emails and SMS sequences to get more people to buy even after you're done going live? How do you create more urgency and scarcity the right way, not in an unethical way? I've mentioned multiple times, I am not trying to get anyone in trouble with the FTC. So there are some things you need to be aware of when you use urgency and scarcity. It's got to be legit. And then measuring success and optimizing for the next event. How do you do a debrief, like a debrief checklist to make sure that, hey, whether this event was a smashing success or is like, it was okay. How do you make sure the next one's even better? So we're going to talk about that. And then once again, this is a 6-month program, not 9 weeks. So month 3 through 6, it's all about hands-on support to refine, scale, and multiply your results. So these are going to be weekly calls where we're just going over Q&A. Let's say that you're like, I'm going to rehost this event, and you get on, and it's a Wednesday, and you're like, hey, Zach, I'm going live next week. What are the last things I need to be aware of before I make this pitch? Or, hey, Zach, I just went live. I gave a pitch yesterday. How do we, get more sales the rest of this week? And like, if you need that on-demand support, no big deal. We got you on month 3 through 6. Here's the other thing. I don't even think this is going to be mentioned in the entire sales page or this entire page. You also get Telegram access. So the very second you buy, you will get access to a Telegram group where I will be giving on-demand support. I'll even have my team members in there that we will go on-demand support. If you got a one-off question on a Friday at 2 p.m. and we're not doing a coaching call until next Wednesday, no big deal. We got you covered, okay? So here's what you're gonna get inside the offer room. You're gonna get that full paid event curriculum. You're going to get the event sales page and automation templates. So the same event sales page that you came in through, you already know it works because you're here. You're going to get the exact plug and play templates into so the CRM we use is called Go High Level. Many of you guys might be already on it. And if you're not on it, no big deal at all. We can get you on there free. Well, it's not, actually could even get you free of charge access. We're not trying to make money on Go High Level. So we can give you all of our email automations that are just plug and play. All of the sales page copy and the templates and everything, plug and play straight into your CRM. It will take a fraction of the time to build the sales page and all of the event automations. It will save you potentially weeks. I'm not even kidding on that. So we'll give you that. We're also going to give you the ultimate event asset checklist. I already mentioned that, making sure that you're actually doing all of the copywriting, automation, sales pages, advertising, every detail to make sure that your event is going to be a success. Okay, live weekly group coaching calls. I already mentioned that. You're also going to, actually, I was a little too excited. The private community of high-level entrepreneurs, so that's the Telegram group. So you're not just joining a program, you're joining a mastermind of, I would say, faith-based entrepreneurs scaling with integrity, multiplying their impact, and executing alongside you. Now, you don't have to be a Christian, you don't have to be faith-based to join, fully transparent, but it's definitely not for you if you're going to be offended by that, if that makes sense. Because once again, like, I will tell you, admittedly, a lot of the stuff that you're going to learn, I will have Bible verses that actually support why we do what we do. Okay, so just to be really, really transparent with you on that. Now, we're also going to go and do a couple bonuses. Once again, it's the done for you marketing automations and sales page templates. Already mentioned that. Skip the tech headache. You're going to get that pre-built GHL snapshot with all the essential automations and email sequences and high converting sales pages. Number 2, we're going to go over AOV Mastery, the upsell and order bump playbook. Guys, this is what Jai hired me for in 2020. How do you get more people to take advantage of upsells and order bumps? Admittedly, I didn't use it. I didn't care enough. It just wasn't important to me, but a lot of people are afraid of losing money on ads. And so this is an incredible way of making sure that instead of someone buying a $7 ticket, how do you get them to pay you $55 all said and done? It helps liquidate and bring back more of that ad spend so that you can go into your event feeling confident from a place of abundance rather of like a needy, graspy energy of like, oh crap, I hope this event converts because I've spent too much money promoting it, right? So that's what this helps with. Bonus number 3 is the event debrief cheat sheet. So optimize and scale every single time. So this is going to be a cheat sheet or like a more so also kind of a checklist right after your event's over. Go through this checklist and you're going to be able to see all of the main areas of opportunity that you have to get better and optimize for your next event. And then the 4th bonus is paid event launch calendar. So when to test, launch, and sell out your event. Everything from when should your promo emails start going out, when should your ads go live, when should the open close card emails start, all of that in like a visual calendar. So that way it once again just takes the guesswork out of making sure that this event's going to go off without a hitch. And the 5th and final bonus is the event asset checklist, which is someone would already mentioned up here somewhere. But the event asset checklist is once again, it's going to be the copywriting, automations, creatives, just making sure that there's no stone left unturned. Now, the investment, once again, could do some ridiculous, oh guys, it's $347,000 $347,052.05. At the end of the day, like once again, not really into that. But also for what it's worth, I probably could charge $100,000 for this. Like our VIP clients, like I mentioned a client who I referenced his name as Daniel yesterday. It's not his actual name. He's paying us about $420,000 per year right now to help him out with events. I'm not going to charge you that, of course. Okay. So here's the thing. I was going to charge this as $27,000. I'm like, how do we make it sweeter? And I know some of you guys are like, I'd pay 27K right now. However, I wanted to make this as accessible as possible for all of you guys who are ready to actually execute. So today, you can join for 15K. Once again, one spot is already taken of the 20. And just to put things in perspective here, guys, 2 to 3 new clients. If you charge $5,000 for your service, yeah, all of you guys put in yesterday how much you charge. If you sell 5K services, you can get 2 to 3 new clients from one event and you already made your entire money back. And then you can rehost the event and do it all over again and make even more profit. So unlike hiring a sales team, running paid ads without a system, or wasting months tweaking a funnel that doesn't convert, this strategy actually compounds. You could do it every single month if you want. Every event you run, it technically, like quite literally actually gets way easier to run, way more efficient, way more profitable, and way more predictable. This is the exact same system my clients have used to scale up to literally $100,000+ days, collect $2 million from a single event, sell 15,000 tickets for single events. So if you're ready to get off the sales call hamster wheel and start scaling predictably, this is the time to enroll in the offer room. Now, for this cohort only, once again, I already said this, but I'm just going to say it again. Each module will be live. You will get live support in a messaging app, so you'll be good there. But like in the future, everyone that buys, literally, like if we rehost this event 2 months from now, everyone's just going to get recordings. There is no better value than being able to attend a live training, being able to ask questions and get clarity before the training is over, right? So there's that. Couple, testimonials. Once again, this is Kristen. She made well over $5 million from paid events. Her first one, as I mentioned, she made over 200K just in profit. Jai, he was 8,000+ tickets. Philip helped him sell two fully booked masterminds. I've got more and more testimonials I could share with you. But here's the thing. Who is this offer for? It is for you if you are a coach, course creator, or consultant with a high ticket offer. You are not a beginner and have gotten your clients results before. I am not willing to help someone get a whole bunch of clients with no ability to be able to get clients results. You've got to be a subject matter expert, okay? You're making a minimum of 6 figures in annual revenue. You have at least a small team of ideally 2 or 3 people. Once again, you probably could pull this off as a solopreneur, but ideally you have like maybe 2 people. Admittedly, like we have a small team. We've got a copywriter, myself. We've got a client success director who takes care of some automations and some other marketing stuff. And we also have a media buyer. You don't need that big of a team. That's not even a big team. That's 4 people. But anyway, there's that. You're faith-based or at least not offended by biblical principles, and you generally care about helping people make an impact. And you're coachable, results-driven, and take ownership of your success. If this sounds like you, fully transparent, the doors close well, it's Friday at midnight Central Standard Time, or when we hit 20 enrollments. So if we hit 20 enrollments right now, I promise you, we're closing enrollment. Like, we will shut down this page. I don't want your money. I want it. I don't need it. Like ultimately, that's where I'm at. So here's how you take care of the investment. And now, Justice, if you can go ahead and drop in the link to the chat. And actually, before I cover this next part, there's going to be some frequently asked questions. Once again, I already mentioned, guys, success loves speed. Success loves speed. I'm going to give, Justice is going to kill me on this. And fully transparent, this is not on the page. The next part is just frequently asked questions. Justice is probably going to kill me on this because of how much time this is going to take me. I'm going to offer a bonus for the first 10 people. And once again, one is already taken. Amy has secured that first spot. The first 10 people of the 20 that buy, I am going to be willing, as long as the calendar's aligned. I don't know when you're hosting your event. I'm not going to do this at 2 a.m. my time, right? As long as calendar availability aligns, I'm going to do, for anyone of the first 10 people, I'll do a free, what's called a re-pitch. This is a guest presentation designed to come on in after you've already given your offer. And I can come on in as a guest presenter and do an entirely new presentation that is designed to get any of the people that heard your offer and they're like, ooh, this is good, but I'm not sure if it's 100% for me. It is designed to get every single one of those people off the fence. Fully transparent. This is what saved the gentleman I had mentioned last week. He only had 9 people on his re-pitch, right? So he went live for a 2-day event, and he actually sold 1 person out of 25 people that were on it whenever they heard his pitch. We ended up doing a guest presentation re-pitch where I went live the very next day, and he only had 9 people that showed up, and I helped close 2 of those 9 people into those 2 6K sales, so a whopping 12K extra. I say whopping 12K because that's really not exciting. But guys, that alone could take care of your entire investment in this program. If you're selling a $5,000 offer and you already gave your pitch, you already have a few people that bought, and then you have me come on in and I do a guest presentation, like, who would like me to do a guest presentation for you to increase the likelihood that your event is actually going to convert? Like, does that sound like fun? Like, wouldn't that help you be a little bit more confident? Like, okay, this event's, I'm at least going to make some money, right? Now, obviously, I can't promise you that you'll make money. Like, if you have 0 people show up, I can't assure you of that. But you're not going to have 0 people show up if you actually follow along and you do the market research and everything. So that's what I'm willing to do for the first 10 people that buy this program right now. Well, technically 9, once again, because Amy does already have her spot taken. So what we'll do on that, because that's not even on this page, I will tell the first 10 people that buy, I will tell you if you're that person. And I will let you know I'll give you a calendar link to schedule a calendar invite with me. And we can chat about when your first event's going to be. And so that way we can actually block off my calendar to make sure I'm not traveling and whatnot. And that way we can plan your event around a time I'm available. And we can actually make sure that we get you more sales conversions for the first 10 people. Okay. So guys, that's how you take care of it. Fully transparent. You will have, once again, until Friday at midnight to go ahead and get in. Do not care to, if you're that type of person that's like, I don't know, he's pushing me, like, guys, I'm not trying to push anyone to join this. But if this is for you, if you're the type of person you're like, no, like this is for sure it. Like, I'm done doing sales calls. I want to grow exponentially. I know I want to do this and I know I want some help. Come on and join. I would be so elated to be able to serve you. And I'm so excited to be able to serve the people that will be in this group. Once again, we'll go live next Wednesday will be the first day. But I don't want you in here if you don't want to be in here. Like, if you're like, I'm not about this, like, cool, don't join. I wish you the best. I genuinely hope, though, that you can exponentially grow your business. And if I have any part I can serve in, I'm going to say something in a second. If I have any part that I can serve in exponentially growing your business, I would love to help. Here's the thing, by the way, guys, on that guest repitch, I normally charge 30% of commissions. So anything that I close, I'd normally get 30% of in those guest repitches. So fully transparent, that is not normally free. So technically, if you are number 11 through 20, we can maybe chat about what that would look like. But guests number 1 through 10, or customers number 1 through 10, OFA Room members number 1 through 10, 0 charge. That is an entirely free repitch. So if you've got 100 people live and I get you an extra 22 people to buy, that's genuinely possible, and you make an extra I don't know, if you're selling a 5K offer, you make an extra 100K, I'm not taking $30,000. You just get an extra 30K profit on that because I'm not getting a rev share for those first 10 people. So that is just like me just genuinely saying, I want to serve you and I don't even need to be paid accordingly for it. I'm just trying to make a super, super sweet deal for those people. So cool. Guys, that is it for anyone that is like needs to go. Feel free. I apologize for taking a few extra minutes today. But if you have questions, now is going to be the time we could go ahead and start taking some questions. And if we don't have any questions, I'm more than happy. I'll go grab a, I'll go walk over to the coffee shop. No big deal on that. There's a bunch in the chat. Guys, sorry, I'm not scrolling up in the chat, so you'll have to redrop in your questions at that. Okay, Andres, you said, is it only one event during the 6 months? Yeah, I'll only do one repitch. I'm not just gonna sit here and just make you more and more and more and more money myself for no reason, right? Like you'll pay me for event number 2, 3, 4 if you want me to do a repitch, right? No big deal. We'll figure out a opportunity that makes sense on that. But yeah, if you want to host your event, like I'm serious, the idea within a 9 week curriculum is that within about 10 weeks from now, you're doing your first event. And if that works, guys, redo the same event 3 weeks later. We redo the same event 1 month later. Yeah, do as many events as possible. I told you guys yesterday, I want you to implement scalable and sustainable solutions into your business that will drive revenue at a profitable rate. I would not suggest doing this. This is not right for me to do this if you're only going to be able to do one event. So yeah, do as many events as possible, okay? Let's see, we said, are there payment plans available? Don, at the current time, no, right now we're not doing any payment plans. And admittedly, that was there's a strategy on that. I really just don't want to take the wrong people. Well, it's my thought here is that if you are super, 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 super tight on cash, you could go get a credit card, 0% credit card. You could, pay back your friend. But like, I'm not really big on chasing people down for payment plans. Reason being, typically when people do payment plans, it's because cash flow is tight, which I fully understand. But I'm just not big on like, let's say that we're not even selling 30. Let's say that all 20 people took me up on a payment plan, and then the next week, or I'm sorry, not next week, let's say the next month, that like 5 people's card expired or their card declined. We're not in the game of chasing people down for money. Let's get the investment taken care of. Let's make sure that you're fully bought in, and then we'll obviously serve you from there. But we don't want to chase you down for credit card payments if payments fail. So that's why I say that. Let's see, what time is your bonus day tomorrow? So bonus day tomorrow, same time, so it'll be 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay. Nelson said, I already paid. Now I'll ask my question. Oh, Nelson, first of all, congratulations, dude. Thank you so much for joining. Would this work for my offer? $5,800 to help Christian guys quit porn with an online DIY course and some one-on-one sessions with my team. I've been selling this with the sales team profitably for a year. Work for this. Yeah, 100%. If you, I said it like that. Sorry if that sounded like or seemed like I had a latitude there, brother. If you've been selling this profitably for the last year, yes, this 100% works. And can we call it what it is? Like, if you're helping Christian guys, Christians understand the power of community. Christians understand the power of coming together and holding each other accountable. I don't know. It sounds like this might be a group program that you somewhat help these people with. Maybe there's some one-on-one elements. This would make sense. This would be natural to actually sell this in a group-like environment because it's brotherhood coming together and holding each other accountable to achieve this result. We could actually, I'll help you lean into that model, brother. And also just like the mission you're on, 100% stand on that. That is a huge issue that we need to take care of in America. And especially just as a Christian myself, like someone that actually admittedly like used to very much be deep in that rabbit hole. Yeah. Let's help people get out of that, man. I'm so excited to be working with you, bro. Let's see. Sohail said, from Raphael, have you had success with people who are masters in home improvement sector? Raphael, can you describe what you mean by that? Like, I don't know if you're talking about like you're trying to sell homes. Are you trying to sell like home improvement to people? Are you like a handyman service? If this is a handyman service, I don't know that would make the most sense. But let me know what you mean by that. All right, let's see. No worries. I'm not tight on cash, just asked. You might need to reach out to me personally. Alexis says, okay, this is a longer one. Do people actually buy a 15K offer from you doing a 2-day event, only 1 hour a day? Genuine question. Yeah. Well, first of all, Alexis, we've already had multiple people buy. So yes, that does very much happen. You said what's interesting to me is that you were saying your ideal client is a 6 or 7 figure business owner, but what you taught today is so basic for event stuff. I don't see how it's possible people would buy at 15K offer already. How is this enough info for them? And there are no one-on-one calls, it's just group. If this is working and you can show me people are buying, my mind is blown. I do 3-day events from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Ooh, I don't like how much time you're spending and offer a 15K offer. I sell 500K typically at my event. Yeah, so Alexis, fully transparent. Yes, I've got proof that like I have a client that did an event last July, sold $7 tickets and sold $30,000 offers in the back end. The $30,000 offer, fully transparent though, that was a 5-day event and they went live for 2 hours per day. So we could chat about what would make the most sense. And also like I'm selling to entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, absolutely. 15K is not the biggest investment in the world they're ever going to make. Like most employees they will hire, they will pay more than 15K for 6 months, right? So that's honestly kind of a drop in the bucket for most entrepreneurs after you start making, call it a couple $100,000 a year. But if you're selling a 15K offer to like 9 to 5 middle America, I don't know that I would recommend doing that within 1 or 2 hours per day for 2 days in a row. We might want to talk about a 3 or 5 day event, maybe even a 4-day event, and we can chat about what that would look like. So we have frameworks and we can have some customization within all of the frameworks, and that is why genuinely I'm capping it at 20 people because I want to make sure each person is getting custom solutions. It's custom within a framework, if that makes sense, right? So it's kind of like cooking. It's like if you tell someone how to cook a steak, right? You have your general framework for how to cook the steak. But you can have some fun with seasonings. You can have some fun with based on what size of the steak, how long you're going to need to cook it. So like it's like let me teach you how to cook, right? So we've got the framework. We'll have to make it custom to your specific solution. But yeah, there's no reason you need to be doing 7 hours per day for 3 days in a row. That is a lot of time. Let's see. Home water filtration and improvements, high ticket services. Raphael, home water filtration. So you actually could do home water filtration. I'd be curious, like typically home water filtration services are actually like, I know a lot of people do door to door on that, which is rough. You could absolutely do a virtual event on that. It's tougher to do like the in-person demo, but you could absolutely do that. I don't know though that like you need to be doing a paid virtual event for a home water filtration system, just to call what it is. Like, I don't know that you need to be doing that. You could probably do like a demo to, oh man, you probably do a demo to a sales page or yeah, I'm not sure. Like this is primarily for coaching services. I don't know that it needs to be for selling a physical product like that. I hope that makes sense. There are entrepreneurs like what you have here. My mind is blown. What is the marketing budget we need to have above the 15K investment for the program? Francois, fully transparent. If you'd like to just try out your first event with organic socials, email list, and JVs, you could do that, and you don't spend a single dollar on marketing. You don't spend a single dollar on marketing. Now, if you want to test out marketing, I'd say, I don't know, maybe 5K for like a small test budget. You're not going to get much from that. You're not going to get a ton from that from a 5K test budget, but it's an absolutely fantastic spot to start, especially if you layer in the organic social media, some of the email marketing and or kind of friends, family, JV partnerships, things like that. That's a good spot to start because that way you're not relying on all of the people that come in from a 5K budget to buy. You know, as long as some of those people buy, cool, then we could segment the data. I'll tell you guys how to segment the data here. But if someone buys from paid social, maybe you spend 5K and you make 15K from those guys. But maybe your entire event makes 50,000 because you had other traffic sources that were free. Great. But then we'd want to pay attention specifically to how much did you pay in ads, to how much did the ads produce in back-end revenue. And that becomes your basis for how much you should probably spend and how do we optimize for the next one. Hope that makes sense. Let's see. Expected ideal CPA. Nelson, are you talking about on the front end or the back end? Fully transparent, they're different. Like some people have, I'll say okay, you said back end. Man, I'd say really anywhere from like high end 2000. I don't want you to spend more than $2,000, especially for a 6K offer. I don't want you to spend anything more than 2K because that becomes very not exciting very quickly. Ideally, we can get you somewhere around $1,000 cost of acquisition. That's kind of the bread and butter there. So if you could spend, call it 10K in test budget and you got 6 sales, fantastic. You just made $60,000. That's a 6x return. Typically, coaching businesses are happy with the 6x return. You might be able to get it way higher. I have seen people do all the way up towards 10 and 15x ROAS, but I'm not going to sit here and say that is normal. I'm not going to sit here and say that is normal. So just heads up on that. Yeah, you said currently at a 1,300 CPA with the sales team. So yeah, dude, we're spot on. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to do close to that on this. So cool. Any other questions? It looks like we have a couple of hands raised, but I don't know if those are from people that were raising earlier whenever I was calling on volunteers. Justice, if you want to drop in one more time for anyone that needs that link, that might be helpful. Andrew, front-end CPA is, so here's the thing, it's going to change based on your market. So like some people have, I'm not kidding when I say $40 or maybe $50 front-end CPA. Other people have somewhere closer to a $200 CPA on the front end. It doesn't matter as much as long as they are converting. Number one, they're showing up, they're converting, and there's enough profit in the back end. So what we can do is, yeah, Andres, or wait, who's the one that just asked this? Oh, no, I'm sorry, Andrew asked this. Andrew, what we could do is we could chat about like, if you think about, if let's say that you're operating on a little bit tighter margins. I have no idea what you're charging a back end product for. Like, let's say it's 5K. I would say, let's say that you start testing this out and you're maybe a $200 cost of acquisition for a ticket. Not great. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just not great. You're not going to love the profits in the back end from that. And so what we'd want to focus on, and this is the point of doing week 2, when we validate your offer, we want to see what offer, what front end event offer is going to attract the lowest cost of acquisition for the highest quality customer. It is a really, really, really helpful strategy that we do that not only shows us what's going to sell, but it also shows us who it's going to attract. So, and obviously, it really just depends on how good the event is. So like if the event offer is fantastic, dude, you're going to get probably closer to maybe a $50, maybe even $100 cost of acquisition on the front end. But if it's not as good, it's not hitting the market as good, that might be closer to maybe 150 or 200, right? So it also depends on how much you're spending. So if you spend 5K or 10K on ads, typically your cost of acquisition is lower. But when you spend $300,000 in 10 days, the cost of acquisition can rise, absolutely. All right, let's see, we said, Drew, you said, oh wait, hold on. Andre said, can you be more specific on build out the event and create assets? Yeah, so like, well, I don't know what you would 100% mean on that. So what, Andres, if you could let me know what you're gaining clarity on. So like when I say build out the event, we would be helping you come up with the event name and what you should what you should actually teach during your event. Now, we're not going to teach it for you. We're not going to come up with a slide deck for you, right? And if you guys notice, I didn't use a slide deck on this presentation. You don't need, that's a huge myth. People think they need to have slide decks to have an engaging presentation, and sometimes slide decks can actually make it less engaging. So we would be helping you with what in general should you teach, and what's the core outline based on your market research that you got. And then you can actually obviously come up with we'll help you come up with the name, the outline, and then you'll obviously have to host it for yourself. Like I'm not going to host the event for you, right? All right, Drew said, so my book just launched on Amazon called Go All In, Your Blueprint for Wealth, Legacy, and Financial Freedom. And my idea was a course between $2,000 and $5,000 called How to Make 7 Figures in the Financial Sector. Would this work for your program? So Drew, firstly, I would say in general, coaching people on wealth creation, yeah, 100% it would work. We have a client that we're actually prepping for an event right now for where he only sells to accredited investors. He's going to be teaching accredited investors how to ultimately create more wealth. People that have at least $1 million net worth. Are you kidding me? They're coming in from a $1 ticket or $7 ticket? Absolutely. Here's what we're doing though. If he just said, I can help you create more wealth, it's so broad, right? And so his market research actually showed that his market, he did a test, 20 people in the first 24 hours came in on one of these ads. 20 people that came in, 16 of which were actually accredited investors. So we knew that it was attracting the right people. And they specifically said that the main thing they wanted to learn was how to use real estate investments to mitigate their taxes. So now our client can understand like, okay, I'm not just helping these people create wealth. What they really want is to get away from the pain of overpaying in taxes, right? And so same general concept, you just have to be more specific, right? And so Drew, we can help you get more specific with what should you specifically teach that would bring in more people. Because just in general, how to make seven figures from the financial sector is a little broad. So we'd want to be just a little bit more specific on that. But yeah, we could absolutely help you out with that for sure. All right, Anna Sarah, you said, I'm a coach for women in a transition in their life. Want to balance who they are spiritually being with what they do in the world. My group coaching course is spiritual based, but not faith based. Do you work with people like this? Well, yeah, fully transparent. You don't have to be faith based to work with me, okay? But the thing in this, though, is that seems, you said you're helping them with who they are being and what they are doing in the world. So, Anna Sarah, for example, in this case, like, I'm having a hard time visualizing what transformation you're helping these people accomplish. And so when you think about when you're marketing to cold traffic, when you're coming out with a new offer, you want to make sure that your offer is taking someone from a crystal clear point A to a crystal clear point B. People want specific tangible results in some way, shape, or form, right? And so in your case, like maybe it's like their point A, their pain points, maybe it's just like they are so overwhelmed and they feel just lost. Like they feel like they're just walking around, they're going to their job. They know their job is not fulfilling. They know their family's like, they love their family, but they feel like they're called for more and they just don't know what that is. And they're like, ultimately they're searching for a purpose and they are maybe confused, maybe they're depressed, maybe they're, et cetera. Like we can talk about what core pain points these people might be experiencing. So we want to figure out what is the crystal clear point A that they're at and what's the crystal clear point B. And if we can't visualize that with clarity, it's probably not ready yet to market. So anyway, just heads up, we probably need to work on the offer a little bit there, but and offer messaging a little bit. But I mean, honestly, like week 1 and week 2 on that would be super, super helpful for you. Like you would get so much more clarity. Like even if you want to do sales calls, for example, once again, guys, I don't hate sales calls. I just don't think you should rely on sales calls to grow your business because it quite literally cannot exponentially grow your business. But all of the concepts I'm going to be teaching you are going to be helpful in general at bringing in more qualified customers and how to sell them in a really, really valuable way. And so no matter what, that's still be helpful for you. Let's see, we said have to run. Can someone reach out to me from your team? Yeah, Justice, if you're still on this, Justice, can you make sure that we reach out to Alexis? I'm not sure what her question is. And obviously, Alexis, you could also ask a question tomorrow. Let's see. This isn't my client, this isn't my client attracting statement. Yes, confused, self-doubt, judged by others as crazy, want purpose, clarity, confidence, and feel empowered in all areas of their lives. Okay. Yeah. So like we want to get even more specific. So like, for example, like why do they feel confused? What's going on that they feel self-doubt? Like what's going on in their day-to-day life? We want to actually picture them literally going through their day on a random Tuesday. We want them to see that we are literally reading their diary. And if you're writing a diary entry, you're probably not just going to say, I'm confused, I have self-doubt, and I'm feeling judged by others. You might simply say, had a conversation with my coworker today. She asked me what I did this weekend, and I mentioned that I spent some time meditating. She started making fun of me for it because she keeps saying how woo-woo I am and how ridiculous that sounds. But she doesn't understand how much peace I feel after I spend time meditating. I feel like the world doesn't understand me. I feel like the world just doesn't get me. I'm still looking for my place. I'm still looking for my community. Like that might be her journal entry, right? And so like that is a way more descriptive statement of what's going on in her mind than simply just saying self-doubt, judged by others, confused, etc. I hope that makes sense. And then the end desire is like, well, what does she actually desire? Is she just like wanting Stacy, her coworker, to understand who she is? And anyway, we once again, we'll have to just get more specific with that as well. So hopefully that makes sense. Also, on a, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. It's either Anasara or Anasara. Please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. I would highly, highly encourage. You might want to check on Stara. I love it. Perfect. Thank you so much for that. I would highly encourage, if you haven't read it yet, $100 million offers really helps break down an incredible framework for for getting more specific messaging as well. Not to say I can't help you, but like just I want to make sure that you're not only relying on me as the source for end all truth, right? So I would encourage you to go, if you haven't already read it. $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy is an incredible book for coming up with really crystal clear offers that people, the second they hear, they're like, that's for me, I want to buy it, right? So I would encourage you to buy that. Cool. Looks like we still have a good few people on. Any other questions that we haven't answered? If not, we can go ahead and get going. Go enjoy your Tuesdays. Okay, Daniel, you said on a $1 or $2 JV2 offers. I'm not sure what you're asking there, Daniel. Not sure what you're asking. I'd like to network. Can you offer 2 offers? Daniel, my guy, can you offer 2 offers in the back end, I think is what you're talking about? There's strategies around this. Some people are all for it. Some people are all against it. I think that like speaking in blanket statements is tough, right? Because everyone has different nuances. In general, I am against it. In general, like if I told you guys that I had 2 entirely different offers for you today, I'm causing buying fatigue or decision fatigue. You guys are now having to make a decision on which one is right for you. It's not a, hey, yes or no, like, yes, I want this transformation or no. Now it's like, crap, which transformation do I want? Which one is right for me? Like it actually causes more resistance because now people have to make an extra decision. It's not even a purchase decision. It's which one would I be better fit for? And then they can self-qualify themselves. And then they have to say, okay, is this right for me? Should I invest? So it typically just adds in a little bit more friction than necessary. Now, there are strategies that we can deploy to get more people, especially if it's like an ascension program. Like, let's say that, like, for example, if I have anyone watching this right now, that would be a better fit for a VIP client. Maybe you're a multi 7-figure organization and you're like, I just don't want a group program. I get it. Cool. Not all of our clients need a group program. It's like you've got an entire team. You've done events before. You just need a little bit of refinement. Cool. We can do consulting. So, and the consulting, fully transparent, is way more than 15K. It starts at 25K, and there's typically back and rev shares. And so, like, if that's for you, here's what I would say: buy the 15K. Email us right after you buy it, and let me know you'd like to discuss upgrading into being a VIP client. And so if you'd like to upgrade into the VIP client, then obviously, if it made sense, we'd just charge you the difference. We just we'd run the card for the difference in the upcharge. So it'd be an extra 10K, and we could talk about the rev shares on that. So that, and for example, Daniel, that's a perfect example of like, technically I just gave a second offer, but that doesn't deter people away from getting in the main offer, if that makes sense. Let's see. She said, still not 100% clear on why you have at least a small team or 2 to 3 to support you. Andres, fair question, man. So I guess here's the thing. It is helpful if you are trying to do all of this on your own. It's just going to be a little bit more of a load. So for example, like the copywriting, the page building, prepping for the speech, it's just probably going to take a little bit more of your time as compared to if you have a small team that can help you with either the copywriting or the automations or the integrations, all of that stuff. So that is why it's helpful. It's also, if you guys notice, like Justice has been mentioned, like the paid event support, it's been very helpful to have someone in here helping moderate, being able to take care of some of your guys' questions, etc. So that's why it's helpful. You don't 100% need it. You can absolutely pull this off on your own, but it's just very helpful to have at least one extra person to be able to take care of some of the load. I'm not going to sit here and say like this is the easiest thing in the world in terms of bandwidth to pull off. See, this is actually going to be a word for some of y'all. The things that are easiest in life typically make your life harder later, right? It's way easier to skip the gym today, but it's going to become harder for you later when your health declines. The things that are hard today typically make your life easier later. It's harder, once again, to go to the gym today, but way easier later when you feel great and your health is in great shape because of it, and you can, play with your kids as they're running around and you're not a super, super tired adult. It's way harder to build out an event like this, especially on your own, but you absolutely can do it. I'm not going to sit here and say you can't, because you 100% can. It's just harder, but it will allow you to have an easier way of growing your business later to do these events, right? It's easier now to just take some one-on-one sales calls. It is so much easier, but it will be way harder later on when you're now trying to have to build a sales team or you're having to try to come up with a different system. It's always try to do the hard thing now so life can be easier later on. Typical show rates. Andrew, we see typically somewhere between 40 to 60% show rates on small dollar tickets like this. Like literally $1 tickets. We had a 47% show rate yesterday. By the way, that's a word. Middle of the day on a Monday to an entrepreneurial audience, that is one of the most busy times that entrepreneurs are not going to want to be bothered. And we had a 47% show rate on a single $1 ticket. Thought the automations come with the program. Andres, they do. Yeah, they absolutely do. But you still have to like write the copy. You still have to make sure that like they're turned on. So, Andres, if it makes sense, bro, if you want to email us afterwards, like I'm happy. I think there might be something that maybe I'm miscommunicating to you, because I think that the questions you're asking are they're valid, but I think I might have miscommunicated something, because I think that there might be unnecessary resistance that I actually might have caused for you, which is I apologize if I've caused confusion on this, because you absolutely do have the automations. I'd be happy to share, like show you what those look like. So, but you just have to set them up. Like they're in your account. You just have to go in and you have to go like swap out the emails, and it'll tell you even what your email should be about. You just have to swap it out. So like it's like I'm not going to go write your emails for you, if that makes sense, right? But we'll tell you what your email should be about. Email number 1, make it centered on this. Email number 2, make it centered on this. That's all already in there, and all of the wait for this day, wait 24 hours, all of that's already pre-built. That is already pre-built. I hope that makes sense. Cool. All right. Any other last questions? I'm going to get going here soon. I'll take 1 or 2 more questions if you guys have them. And also, once again, guys, keep in mind, whether you buy today or you don't, we still got tomorrow. Still going to jam out tomorrow. We're going to talk about what it looks like to close out a room, and the difference between a transactional educational event versus a transformational event. Cool. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end the Webby and the webinar. Guys, love you. Thank you so much for jumping on today. This was honestly, like, had a blast. Oh, Daniel, you said 10Q. I don't know if that means you have 10 questions. Daniel, if you have another question. Oh, I don't know if that means thank you. Maybe that means thank you. If you have a question, email info@paidliveevents.com if you guys have a question. All right. Much love. Appreciate you all, and I will see you tomorrow.